Thom Hartmann here on the news. You need to know this. A week ago, the U.S. Senate voted down an amendment that would have required the labeling of genetically modified foods. But Senator Bernie Sanders says he's not giving up. In an interview with CNN's Jake Tapper, Senator Sanders said, "I have not the slightest doubt that the momentum is with us. There are about 27 states in this country that are moving forward on the labeling of GMO food." As if to underscore the importance of Senator Sanders' determination, just one day after that interview, Reuters reported that unapproved GMO wheat was discovered in Oregon. In that report, a Chicago-based commodities broker said the discovery would harm wheat sales from the Pacific Northwest because the wheat would be denied the non-GMO stickers that buyers in other countries require. Not only did that story illustrate the danger of GMOs contaminating our entire food supply, but it demonstrated that U.S. food producers are perfectly capable of abiding by labeling requirements. Apparently, food producers think consumers in other countries are entitled to know what's in the food they eat, yet they continue to block Senator Sanders' efforts to ensure Americans have that same right. Currently, lawmakers in Connecticut, New York, and Vermont are considering legislation to mandate GMO labeling. As more and more states call for the labeling of genetically modified foods, many Americans are pleased to know that a few senators anyway are fighting for every person's right to know what's in their food. In screwed news, according to Wisconsin's 4th District Court of Appeals, that state has the right to disenfranchise low-income voters. Yesterday, that court sided with Republican lawmakers and upheld Wisconsin's controversial voter ID law. The GOP lawmakers passed the contentious bill 2 years ago under the guise of preventing voter fraud. The League of Women Voters challenged the law, arguing that it violates the Wisconsin Constitution, which explicitly confers the right to vote to every person. The League maintains that the requirement would disenfranchise voters who cannot obtain a photo ID. The ACLU and the League of Latin American Citizens have also challenged the law in separate lawsuits, which are still pending. An immigrants' rights group and the NAACP filed suit as well in Dane County Circuit Court and won a permanent injunction blocking the ID requirement. That injunction still stands, but Wisconsin's Justice Department plans to appeal that decision as well. The attorney for the League of Women Voters said he is contemplating an appeal to the state Supreme Court, so the fight to protect Wisconsin's voting rights continues. Stay tuned. In the best of the rest of the news, unions are pressing the Obama administration to take a stand against the slave labor conditions in Bangladesh. They're calling on the White House to revoke that nation's special trade status. According to the New York Times, State Department officials say that the White House will lose its leverage over Bangladesh if their status is revoked. However, union representatives and Labor Department officials contend that the leverage is meaningless if it's never used. Labor officials are also calling on the administration to publicly pressure retailers like Walmart and The Gap to sign on to an international inspection and improvement program, which so far they have resisted. Same kinds of abuses being debated today, including safety violations and worker abuse, prompted 2 prior reviews of Bangladesh's most favored nation status back in 1990 and in 1999. U.S. labor groups contend that a stronger stance is needed as the country has shown little to no improvement in over 20 years. Brian Campbell of the International Labor Rights Forum said U.S. trade officials have already sent the wrong message to Bangladesh. It's time to send a strong signal. This week, an Oklahoma State Representative, Republican Doug Cox, wrote a scathing editorial about his own party's stance on abortion. As a practicing physician, Representative Cox has been in an ongoing fight with his fellow lawmakers about ensuring access to birth control and Medicaid coverage for the so-called morning after pill. He wrote, "What happened to the Republican Party that I joined? A party where conservative presidential candidate Barry Goldwater felt women should have the right to control their own destiny." He argued that the Republican war on women's reproductive rights contradicts the GOP's core principles. He asked what happened to the Republican Party that felt that the government had no business being in an exam room standing between me and my patient. Where did the party go that felt some decisions in a woman's life should be made not by legislators and government, but rather by the woman, her conscience, her doctor, and her God? No word yet on a response from fellow Republicans or whether Representative Cox will soon be switching parties. And finally, a former Microsoft executive plans to create our nation's first official brand of marijuana. Jamin Shively is launching his newest business plan with the purchase of medical pot dispensaries in 3 states. He says he envisions a Seattle-based business, and he's hoping to become a leader in both recreational and medical marijuana. It's a giant market in search of a brand, says Shively, who's soliciting investors for $10 million to fund the startup. He hasn't shared any details of when we should expect a brand or what he may call the product, but Seattle Sativa does have a nice ring to it. And that's the way it is today, Friday, May 31st, 2013. I'm Thom Hartmann on the news.